This is the tale of Lucretia Mott. She did a ton in her lifetime. She might have been very successful, but she went to far places across the planet to talk about equality and held many protests. Her husband fully supported her to hold potentially dangerous protests while they had 6 kids at home. She was aware of racial inequality and sexism between her children and teenage years. She spent her entire life fighting for equality. She fought the times every time, no matter how outnumbered she was or where she was. She must have inspired thousands, if not millions.
It is not Christianity, but priestcraft that has subjected woman to where we find her. The church state has been united, and well for us to see it so. If we look into authority to see how they expound the text, quite likely we shall find a new reading. Great allowance has been made by some of the speakers in this convention on account of his ignorance, and certainly this was charitable. If I heard this discourse, I heard him bring up what was called apostolic prohibition and the old Eastern idea of subjection of wives. But he kept out of view some of the best ideas in the scriptures. Blame is often attached to the position a woman is found. I blame her not as so much as I pity her. So circumscribed have been her limits, and she does not realize the misery of her position. Such dupes are men to custom that even servitude of the worst ills come to be thought as good. Till down from sire to son, they kept and guarded as a sacred thing. Woman's existence has been maintained by sufferance. The veneration of man has been misdirected. The pulpit has been prostituted. The Bible has been ill-used. The temperance of people have been had to feel its supposed denunciations. Then the anti-slavery, and now reform has met, and still continues to meet passage and passage of the Bible, never intended to be used. In reference to our reform, even admitting that Paul did mean preach, when he used that term, he did not say that the recommendation of that time was applicable to churches of all after time. We have been so long pinning our faith on other people's sleeves that we ought to be examining these things daily ourselves to see whether they are so. And we should find on comparing text with text, and that a very different construction might be put upon them. All Bible's commenters agree that the Church of Corinth, when the apostle wrote, was in a state of great confusion. They fell into discussion and controversy. And in order to keep quiet the state of things and bring the church to a great priority, the command was given out that all women should keep silence and only permit them to speak, except by asking questions at home. It has been done by law and public opinion since that time. There has been a great deal said about sending missionaries over to the east to convert women who are immolating themselves on the funeral pile of their husbands. How many women are there now immolated upon the shrine of superstition priestcrafts are in our very midst, in the very assumption that man only has the right to pulpit, and that if a woman enters, she defies God. Making women believe in that misdirection of their vocation, in that it is of divine authority, and that she should be thus bound. Believe it or not, my sisters, is the pistil, the word. Prophesizing, should be preaching godliness. These things are worthy of note. I do not want to dwell too much on the scripture of authority. We too often bind ourselves by authorities rather than by the truth. We are infidel to the truth by seeking examples to overthrow it. The very first act of the note is mentioned when the disciples of apostles went forth after Jesus was removed from them. Was the bringing of ancient prophecy to prove that they were right of the position they assumed on the occasion? When men and women were gathered together on the holy day of the Pentecost? When every man heard and saw the wonderful words? The language of the Bible is beautiful in its repetition. Upon my servants and my handmaidens will I pour out my spirit, and shall prophesy. Now can anything be clearer than that?